Introduction. Football, also known as soccer, is a team sport played between groups of 11 players on each side. It is considered by far the most popular sport in the world, with around 270 million people connected in some way. The modern game was founded in England with the formation of the Football Association, whose rules in 1863 form the basis of today's game. Although there may be things in common between the different ball games that were in existence in the 3rd century BC and the sport in its modern form, what we now know as football has its origins in the British Isles. Football's controlling body is la Fédération Internationale de Football Association, better known by its initials FIFA. They organise perhaps the best-known international football competition, the FIFA World Cup, held every 4 years. This tournament is the most famous and popular event in the world, with an audience double that of the Olympic Games. Equipment. The rules of football set out the basic kit that each player should wear, as well as explaining equipment or objects that could be dangerous either for the person using it or another player. Starting from the top, we have the shirt. Football players generally wear identifying numbers or squad numbers on the back of their shirt, and sometimes on the front and on their shorts. Originally, the team used the numbers 1 to 11, corresponding openly with the position of each player on the field. However, nowadays, at a professional level, this practice has been replaced by each team member being given a fixed number, which they use throughout a specific season or competition. Some professional clubs also show the player's name, surname or nickname above the number, or less frequently, below it. Then we have the shorts. They have varied in length throughout the years, but nowadays they usually come down to just above the knees. Goalkeepers can choose to wear long trousers instead of shorts. The shin guards must be made of rubber, plastic, or a similar material and should offer sufficient protection. Socks are worn over the shin pads. The socks should cover the shin pads completely and be of one main colour. The socks can be worn covering the knee and can carry the name of the manufacturer and the national side or team. All players are allowed to wear gloves, but the goalkeepers normally wear protection especially designed for the function they carry out. The goalie's gloves have special parts that prevent the player's fingers from being forced backwards, segments that allow for greater flexibility, and palms made from material designed to offer increased protection and help the player grip the ball more effectively. And lastly, we get to the boots. The majority of players wear football boots that can be made of leather or synthetic materials such as polyurethane. On the bottom, on the soles, they usually have studs. There are many types of stud, and both the quantity and the distribution depends on the characteristics of the terrain. As a general rule, the greater the number of studs, the better the grip and the less probability of suffering an injury on soft ground. Football is played with a spherical ball. It should be made of leather or another suitable material. It should have a circumference of between 68 and 70 centimeters, weigh between 410 and 450 grams, and have a pressure of between 0.6 and 1.1 atmospheres at sea level. Field of play. Football is played on a rectangular pitch made of natural or artificial grass. The pitch should measure between 90 and 120 meters in length and be between 45 to 90 meters wide. For international games, the recommended proportions are between 100 and 110 meters in length and between 64 and 75 meters in width. The two lines running the length of the pitch are known as the sidelines or touch lines, while the lines marking the end of the pitch are known as the goal lines. In the middle point of the two touch lines, another line crosses the pitch, known as the halfway line. In the middle of the goal lines, projecting into the field of play, are the penalty areas, the goal areas, and the goals. The goals themselves are formed of two vertical posts, 2.44 meters high, 7.32 meters apart, located in the center of each goal line. The top of each post is joined by a horizontal bar, known as the crossbar. The penalty areas are rectangular spaces located in line with the center of the goals, extending out into the pitch. Two lines are drawn at right angles to the goal, 16.5 meters from inside of each goal post. These lines extend into the field of play for a distance of 16.5 meters and are joined by a line drawn parallel with the goal line. The area bounded by these lines and the goal line is the penalty area. The goal area is similar in shape, but with a dimension of 5.5 meters. Lineup. The lineup of players in a football team can be divided into 4 different zones. The goalkeeper. This is the player whose primary objective is stopping the ball from entering the goal during play, an action known as scoring a goal. The goalkeeper is the only player that can touch the ball with their hands during active play, although they can only do this within their own area. Each team can only have one goalkeeper in their starting lineup. If the player has to leave the field for any reason, they should be substituted by another footballer, whether it be a substitute or a player already on the field. The defense. This refers to players positioned just ahead of the goalkeeper and behind the midfielders. Their main objective is to disrupt opposition attacks. Usually defenders are organized in an arc, with some defenders closer to the goal than the others. The defenders in the center are called centre-backs, and defenders near the touch lines are called full-backs or wing-backs. Midfielders. This is the group of players playing in the center of the field. This is one of the most important positions in this sport. Their functions include regaining the ball, setting up moves, and their main role is to create space, spread play wide, and center the ball to the strikers from the wings. Forwards. These are the players closest to the opposition goal. This means they are the most offensive position. They have the main responsibility for scoring and are the targets for the midfielders. Basic notions. To play good football, there are certain techniques that need to be learned. Receiving the ball. Football players need to be able to control the ball when they receive it. The easiest way is usually to use either the foot or the chest. More advanced players can use the first touch to make the ball move quickly in the direction that they want to run. They can also use the first touch to pass the ball. Leaving the ball. This consists of making it look like you are going to receive the ball, but really you will let the ball pass. This can be done to confuse the opposition defenders and can be used as an attacking move in certain situations. Pass. In order to keep possession of the ball, it is essential to be able to make short passes of the ball quickly and efficiently between players. Long passes allow for a greater variety of situations and for a more direct style of play. Centre. This consists of sending the ball from one side of the pitch towards the centre, near to the opposition goal. It needs great precision and ball control. Shoot. Players should have a balance when it comes to shooting, neither shooting too much, nor shooting too little and letting an opportunity pass. Shots must be precise and powerful, although it is very difficult to achieve both at the same time. Choosing between precision and power depends on the situation and the individual characteristics of the player. Choosing which part of the goal to shoot at is the subject of much discussion and depends on how many players are defending it. When an attacking player is one-to-one with the goalkeeper, the shots should be aimed close to one of the posts. Ideally, the shot should be directly at one of the top corners, but it is easier and also effective to shoot along the ground. When the goalkeeper has advanced too far, a player can also try to lob the ball over the keeper. Dribble. This consists, principally, of trying to put the opposition player off balance to try and dodge them. Techniques for doing this are infinite, and basically they are movements that use different feints. Dribbling is an alternative to passing that occurs when a player with the ball is facing an opponent. This alternative requires special skills, and it isn't always present in every player. Categories. There are different types of football with similar rules and subtle variations. Football 11. As the name indicates, this is the type of football played with 11 players per team. This is by far the most popular form of the game. Football 7s. This is played with 7 players per team, and it is played on a smaller pitch, the dimensions being between 30 and 45 metres wide, and 50 to 65 metres long. It is roughly half the size of a standard pitch. Futsal. This is played with 5 players per team. The pitch is smaller than that of Football 11 and Football 7. The pitch measures 40 metres long by 20 metres wide. It is normally played on a covered field, and the surface is made of wood, concrete, or asphalt. Rules. Each of the two teams can have a maximum of 11 players and a minimum of 7. During the game, players can be exchanged for others, called substitutes. A goalkeeper has to be among the starting players, and it is allowed to change the goalkeeper with another on-field player during the game, if and when it is done during a break in play, and with the referee's permission. The captains or representative players from each team should wear something to identify them to the referee, should it be necessary. An armband is normally used for this. The players can touch and move the ball with any part of the body except the arms. However, the goalkeeper can use any part of their body, but only when they are in their own area. Each game is controlled by a referee assigned by the organisation responsible for the competition in question. They are the maximum authority during the game and make sure that the rules are followed. All decisions made by a referee are final. Only the referee can modify a decision, and only when done so before the game has restarted or before the final whistle. The referee has 2 assistant referees who are positioned on the touchlines to aid in the decision-making. They are also responsible for controlling the substitutes bench and technical team. A 4th official is in charge of signalling the substitutions and for extra time. To start the game, 1 or more players from the team move the ball in the direction of the opposition goal from the centre spot. Normal time starts from the moment they touch the ball. The opposing team will do the same thing to start the second half. The same action is taken to restart the game after a goal has been scored, with the team that conceded the goal taking the restart. The duration of a match, as specified by the regulations, is 2 equal halves of 45 minutes each, with a half-time rest period of no more than 15 minutes, with each competition deciding the exact length. The duration of each half can only be changed if the competition rules allow, and if there is an agreement between the referee and both teams before the start of the game. Any time lost during each part of the game should be made up at the end of each half, according to the judgment of the head referee. The objective of the game is to score more goals than your rival. A goal is considered to have been scored when the ball has completely crossed the line between the vertical posts and below the horizontal bar of the opposition goal, given that there has been no infraction of the rules committed beforehand. A goal is the only way to score in football, something that doesn't happen in other codes. If both sides score the same amount of goals, the game is considered to have been drawn. In many cases, when the game ends in a draw, a way to choose a winner must be found. There are various ways that this can be achieved. If a game ends in a draw, extra time can be added. This consists of 2 halves, normally of 15 minutes each, where the game is continued. There are 2 other forms when the game can finish before the end of extra time: the golden goal and the silver goal. However, these options have been discontinued in recent years. If the game still ends in a draw, the teams will enter a penalty shootout. This consists of each team taking alternate penalty shots until the team has taken 5. If, after the 10 penalties, the teams are still drawn, the teams will take it in turns to shoot until there is a winner. The use of extra time and penalties are very common in the modern game. They are especially common in the knockout phases of the World Cup. Each time a player tries to kick or kicks another, they push, pull another player back to gain an advantage, or touch the ball with their hands, except for the goalkeeper. The referee will signal a direct free kick in favour of the team that didn't commit the foul. This is taken from the place that the infraction happened. If it happened within the penalty area, the kick is taken from the penalty spot, independent of the position of the original infraction. If a player plays dangerously, obstructs a rival player, or prevents the goalkeeper from throwing the ball with their hands, a free kick will be given to the side that did not commit the foul. A free kick will also be given if the goalkeeper holds the ball in their hands for more than 6 seconds, or touches the ball having previously touched it, or picks up the ball after having received the ball from a teammate, whether passed or from a throw-in. Different colour cards are used to indicate misconduct by a player. If a player is shown a yellow card, it is a warning. If they are shown a red card, they are sent off. Misconduct includes anti-sporting behaviour, consistently breaking the rules, delaying the restart of the game, dangerous or violent conduct, and other reasons. If a player is shown a red card, they will be sent off the field of play and cannot be replaced by another player. If a player receives 2 yellow cards in the same game, then they automatically receive a red card and are sent off. Cards are a way of enforcing the rules. If the ball goes out of the field of play over the goal line but not into the goal after being touched by a defender, the attacking team takes a corner kick from the corner of the pitch closest to where the ball went out of play. If the ball was last touched by a member of the attacking team, the defending goalkeeper or a defender restarts the game with a goal kick. This is taken from the line of the penalty area. If the ball leaves the field of play over the touchline, a throw-in is given against the side that last touched the ball. A throw-in is taken with 2 hands, and the ball is thrown over the head, with the player behind the line and not touching the sideline. If the throw is not taken correctly, the referee can whistle for a foul and award the throw-in to the other team. I like football.